Well, jury selection has wrapped for the day in the capital murder case against Hunter Chenoweth. He's a Madison County man accused of killing 3 of his family members in 2021. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi was in the courtroom today nearly 4 years after the defendant Hunter Chenoweth pleaded not guilty.
Hunter Chenoweth was in court Monday as one by one trial attorneys considered 50 prospective jurors to be seated in his capital murder case. It could take several days for attorneys to finalize their 12 jurors and 2 alternates. Prosecutors accused Chenoweth of shooting and killing his mom, Tammy Lynn Chenoweth, his stepfather, James McGee, and his sister, Cheyenne Chenoweth, at a home in the Wesley community of Madison County. He faces 3 counts of capital murder. Chenoweth pleaded not guilty in 2021 to the charges, but delays pushed proceedings back. Court documents show previous delays include incomplete crime labs in 2021 and 2022 and an incomplete mental evaluation in 2023. Records also show the case was continued due to a medical emergency of a necessary witness for the defense in April of last year. The trial could take a couple of weeks as prosecutors say they have dozens of witnesses to call to the stand. If convicted, Chenoweth faces life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. In Huntsville, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
The President of Mexico and Prime Minister of Canada say they've both made agreements with President Trump to pause planned tariffs for at least a month. A 10% tariff against China is still slated to go into effect at midnight. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that on a call with Trump, he pledged additional cooperation on border security as part of the temporary agreement. It follows similar moves by Mexico this morning. The delays do not mean the matter is settled. So how could these tariffs impact you? 5 News reporter Kayla Davis spoke with one local business before the news of the pause actually broke today. Kayla?
Darren, if those tariffs on Canada and Mexico had gone into effect, millions of Americans across the country could have seen cost increases in utility bills, cars and parts, alcoholic beverages, produce, and even furniture. I reached out to Black Hills Energy and Ozark Electric Cooperative, who both say it's too soon to tell how much utility bills could have gone up. I also spoke with Precious Cargo in Springdale today before the news of the agreement with Canada. They told me not all furniture warehouses would have seen a big impact.
We do import a couple of different items from Canada, but I don't foresee a major impact because most of what I'm doing is not imported from Canada. I would have a sense that the freight costs may come down to combat the tariffs.
Once again, the 10% tariff on China is still slated to go into effect at midnight. Kayla Davis, 5 News.
Egg prices also climbing, and local restaurants are feeling the pinch as a nationwide bird flu outbreak drives up costs. Price for a dozen has gone up more than 60% compared to last February, expecting to go up another 20% this year. At Doomsday Coffee in Fayetteville, owners say breakfast makes up half of their sales. Owner says that's taken on a toll of their bottom line, and they're balancing tough decisions about how to keep serving customers without breaking the bank.
At the end of the day, I just want to give my customers delicious breakfast tacos. I don't want them to feel like they're getting less now because the eggs are cheaper. So we have not changed anything, sadly. We want people to still enjoy their breakfast. Portions are the same. We're just keeping our fingers crossed that the prices just drop.
USDA estimates that roughly 8% of the country's total flock has been wiped out by the bird flu since November.
Oklahoma's state legislative session got underway today at the state capitol. So far, more than 3,000 bills have been filed for consideration this year. Governor Kevin Stitt kicked off the session with his State of the State address, outlining priorities for Oklahoma lawmakers, including a new round of income tax cuts and making the state the best in the country for business.
We have a mandate to support and pass conservative, limited government legislation that makes the American dream possible for all 4 million Oklahomans. In order to do that, we need to commit to these 4 principles. We need to, number 1, protect Oklahoma taxpayers. Number 2, let's be the best state for business. Number 3, let's safeguard our savings. And number 4, let's protect the Oklahoma way of life.
Shortly after today's speech from the governor, the Democratic leader of the Oklahoma House released a statement opposing the governor's tax cut plan, saying it would help the wealthy and not working class Oklahomans. Meanwhile, in Arkansas, lawmakers are in week 4 of their legislative session. One of the big committee meetings on the schedule today was in the Senate Education Committee, where the Bell-to-Bell No Cell Act advanced. That bill would regulate cell phone use in public school classrooms. It's scheduled to go before the full Senate chamber tomorrow. The ongoing budget dispute in Jefferson County also reached Arkansas leadership today as the shutdown there enters its 4th week.
Yeah, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced emergency legislation today requiring leaders on the quorum court to pay workers who have not had a paycheck yet this year. Rebecca Brown breaks down the effort to make sure employees get paid.
We're here to respond. So many people are suffering as a result of the impasse.
Newly elected State Representative Glenn Barnes is wasting no time in addressing the needs of his constituents. He introduced his first piece of legislation on Monday aimed at providing relief to struggling workers in Jefferson County.
It was a perfect place to add this piece of legislation that will make sure that whenever counties can't pass a budget for whatever reason, then the people don't suffer as a result of that.
House Bill 1331 requires cities and counties that can't pass a budget to use the previous years. While it's already received bipartisan support in the legislature, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders joined the push on Monday, announcing her intentions to sign it as soon as it hits her desk.
I respect our communities, and I respect the leaders they elect to serve them. But at the end of the day, we cannot let this situation go on for any longer. So we are stepping in and collectively working together to make sure that the people of Jefferson County are taken care of.
The governor was joined by several Jefferson County workers, including Eric Walden Jr., the Assistant Chief of Staff for 6th Division Circuit Court. He says he is grateful the state is now involved in the back and forth playing out in his county's quorum court.
So this legislation that's being signed is the same thing they tried to do a few weeks ago. We could have been paid. This could have been resolved. But because of egos and things of that nature, it wasn't.
Walden also plays a crucial role in Pine Bluff's group violence intervention program. He says the city's future is what motivates him every day, which is why he's been a strong advocate for local leaders to pass a budget.
So it's very important that our employees get paid, that we can get back to work, and that we can get some normalcy back in Pine Bluff, because without it, everything's going to shut down. And we certainly don't want to be back on the news for juvenile homicides and all that, like that. So we're trying to keep what we've got. We're trying to maintain peace and order.
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, 5 News.